What do we want?
You to hit the like button.
When do we want it?
You to hit the like
You
button.
dumb bitch. Ladies and gentlemen, video games are something that we all love. In recent years, video games have skyrocketed in popularity. That's not to say they haven't always been popular, but they haven't. In recent history, they've become sort of a norm in media and content and things that we can do, when in reality that wasn't always the case. But as of now, in this point in history, video games are super important to the human experience and the entertainment industry. With that said, there is a surplus of video games out there, and today I will be telling you my personal favorites, my top 10 video games of all time. Now, before we go any further, I do want to preface that this is not an objective list. One, I haven't played every video game in history, so that's impossible. And two, when it comes to liking things, there is no objectivity. This is a completely subjective, personal, biased list, all right? But don't be going to the comments being like, "Ugh, you put that in your top 10? What are you, stupid? Grow up." We are going to be going from the bottom to the top. So starting at number 10, we have the man, the myth, the legend. We have Fortnite. Now, I know that's a controversial pick, but is it? Think about how fun Prime Fortnite was when you played it with your buddies. You get out of school, you have chemistry homework, you have math homework, you have history homework, but first you got to take a Vic Roy. I'm thinking Prime Fortnite, okay? Prime perfect Fortnite was a perfect game, okay? There was nothing wrong with it. This is one of the first games that, you know, was multiplayer that I constantly played, that I got to play with my friends, you know, day in and day out. This was the first game that I really grinded to get good at. And on top of that, again, think how good Prime Fortnite was. This was a game that quite literally changed the gaming industry forever. It was the first game to ever do crossplay. No, if it was the first ever, but it was definitely the one that popularized battle passes. I mean, this was a game that literally altered gaming history. You could make the argument that it single-handedly built the streaming industry. Overall, this was a game that was just amazing in every aspect when it first started. Has it gotten worse, objectively worse, in recent years? Yes. But to not put it in the top 10 would be doing this game a disservice. It was the first free-to-play battle royale multiplayer game that was, you know, anyone could play it. Battle passes were popular, streaming was popular, the game was good, it had good updates, it was just a fun game. So if I didn't put it in the top 10, I would be making a mistake. On to number 9, we have Skate 3. This was a game that me and a childhood buddy of mine grinded. Not grinded in the sense, you know, that you're getting good or whatever, but it's just a fun game. This is a game I have really fond memories of. The sandbox mode was really fun. The story was really fun. The Hall of Meat was really fun. Kind of came out of left field. Skate 1 and 2, never heard of them. You know what I mean? But Skate 3 was huge. It was hugely popular, but overall just a really fun game, and in a genre where it should not have succeeded. Again, never heard of Skate 1 and 2, but you've definitely heard of, you know, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. You know what I mean? And they're making a new one. I cannot wait for the new Skate. I don't know when it's coming out, but it's been in development for a while, so we're gonna stick that at number 9. Moving on to number 8, we have NCAA football. Now, I didn't put a specific year for this. You know, it's a sports game in the sense that they don't really change much. If I had to pick one, I guess I would say 14. But NCAA football is going on the list. Does it really need an explanation? I mean, this is a game that, you know, you can play from age 2, which I think I did. And the newest one just came out. Like, this is a game that has withstood the test of time. People before the new one came out were still playing a 10-year-old game in NCAA 14. Gonna have to put it at 8. Moving on to number 7, we have another sports game, not nearly in the same genre as NCAA football, which is gonna be Mario Super Sluggers. This is the game that made me think a 5'6" being like myself could make it to the MLB, okay? Because I would slap on Yoshi and hit 4 dingers a game. This was a game that I don't even know when or where we got it, but obviously a game on the Wii, so automatically fun. Which honestly, if I was sitting in a boardroom right now and that game did not exist and you came to me and pitched it, I'd call you a dumbass. It was so fun. You had an endless amount of, you know, Mario characters. And on top of that, I personally played a lot of just sandbox free play. You pick your stadium, you pick your characters, you go. But it was a Mario game. It had to incorporate a story, which I thought was really, really cool, because sports games in general don't incorporate stories. So to take two worlds that should not collide, that being sports and Mario, and morphing them into something that turned out really, really well, was just impeccable and sexy, and I loved it. And on top of that, killer soundtrack. You know, if you need to get homework done or get something done, plug in those earbuds, turn on the Mario Super Slugger soundtrack, and you're good to go. It wasn't just, you know, play baseball with Mario characters. It was play baseball with Mario characters, but they have abilities, they have ultimates, they have team up boosters. The different stadiums allowed for different obstacles. So we're gonna put it at 7. At number 6, we have a lot of the games on here are from my childhood, but there are some that aren't. At number 6, we have Lego Marvel Superheroes. Personally, my favorite Lego game of all time. I vividly remember playing pretty much every Lego game except like Harry Potter with my brother as a kid, non-stop all the time, hours on end. But when this one came out, which I believe was like 2012 or 2013, it changed the game. It changed the game. But this one, when this one came out, the characters talked, there was free roam, there was an endless supply of characters, and on top of that, those characters were Marvel characters, heroes, and God, I want to play it now just talking about it. Anyways, this game was by far the best Lego game in my opinion. Story, characters, everything. The Galactus fight, I mean, come on, bro. It was so good. I'm gonna play it after I'm done recording this video because it is so fun. So we're gonna have to put that at number 6. Number 5, we had of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the original, not the most recent one, which I think was like last year or whatever. This is why when I was talking about Fortnite, I said it was one of the games that got me to play multiplayer games. I think this was literally the first ever multiplayer game that I played. Not only was it the first multiplayer game, like online multiplayer game that I ever played, it was the first M-rated game I ever played, and also the first Call of Duty game I ever played. So I think Chargy on TikTok put it best, like, everybody has that one COD that they would come home from school and just grind for hours on end because they were just having fun and they were a 12-year-old boy. That's this one for me. I don't even think I was 12, but I vividly remember we went to GameStop with my grandpa, and he, you know, we were like, oh, we want this game, we want this game. And it was just with my grandpa, not my parents, so they couldn't say no. We were like, we want this game, we want this game. He's like, all right. So he put it on the counter, and the cashier saw that me and my brother were like, you know, 10 and 8 or whatever, and he's like, are you sure you want to get this? It's kind of, he's like, shut the hell up, I'm trying to buy the game. He's like, okay, sorry. By far one of the best Call of Duties based off just gameplay, so definitely gonna have to put a Call of Duty in there, and it's gonna be Modern Warfare 2 at that 5 spot. Moving on, we're in the top 5 now. Top 4. So at number 4, I had to put one of them in there because they were so crucial to my gaming experience. One of the Batman games had to be in here, and that's going to be Batman Arkham City, which I think a lot of people would agree is one of the better Batman games, if not the best Batman game. This was a game that, you know, I played all of the Batman games. I played Asylum, Origins, City, Night, Unit, Lego, whatever. But this one was interesting because coming off of Asylum, which I played a lot, and I feel like that game actually aged me a lot because I played it maybe a little too young. I was a little scared of like the lunatics and stuff, but it was a great game. And it obviously had some Easter eggs and some setups and some cliffhangers that led into this game, Arkham City. And Arkham City was amazing, and an amazing sequel because it took everything great about Arkham Asylum, which was pretty much everything because that game was amazing and perfect. It took everything great about that game and just doubled down. They went crazy. They added more rogues. They added unique rogues. That this was a game, Batman is by far my favorite DC superhero, and it's because of games like this and this game that, you know, without comics, without movies, I learned a lot about the character, which is how you know it's a good game. I mean, it is a Batman game. It should be Batman focused. It should be focused on, you know, a good representation of the character and, you know, providing lore and character arcs and all of that. So it not only gave you a good rundown of Batman as a character and his rogues gallery and, you know, the arc that he has to go through, it did it through the lens of a video game. And on top of that, the gameplay of that video game, arguably the most important part, was amazing. They took everything that was perfect from Asylum and just doubled down on it. So I'm gonna have to put a Batman game in here, and it's gonna be Batman Arkham City at number 4. Moving on, we are in our top 3. These were tough. I'm not gonna lie, these games were tough, but you know, I strapped on, and did it. At number 3, this one, when I played it, I definitely had some recency bias, but God, it's a good game. And again, this is a pure bias list, because if you could look at this wall, it's just Spider-Man memorabilia, Spider-Man memorabilia, Spider-Man memorabilia. Okay, with that being said, sitting at the number 3 spot, we have Spider-Man 2, the most recent installment in the Spider-Man Insomniac verse. God, this game was good. This game had an insane amount of hype when it first came out, and I'm gonna defend this game till the day I die, because recently, it's been about almost a year since this game came out, and recently I've seen a lot of people just bitch and moan and complain and shit talk this game like there's no tomorrow, and I hate that, because this is a great game. Is it the best game ever? No. Well, I mean, that's subjective, but for me personally, no. But there's people literally saying it's like awful, like they're like, all right, enough time has passed, can we all agree that this game's trash? No. Either you're not a Spider-Man fan, which if you're not a Spider-Man fan, I don't see why you're playing the game anyways. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things. It's like, why would you just play a game to play a game? You know what I mean? Just cause? If you don't want to play it, don't play it. But don't play it and then hate on it. Because I genuinely can't fathom a world in which people sincerely hate this game and think it's bad. You can hate the game if you hate Spider-Man, whatever. This is not a bad game. This is a great game. It took again, like similar to Batman, it took everything that was good about Spider-Man and Miles Morales Spider-Man and just doubled down and added, you know, a quintuple amount of content of good things. For most of the, I mean, I haven't yet. I'm not going to get into spoilers for most of these games, so I'm not going to get into spoilers, but the story, as a Spider-Man fan, as solely a Spider-Man fan, which again, if you're not a Spider-Man fan, you're obviously not going to enjoy the game as much, but as a Spider-Man fan, the fan service and the story and the characters that we got within this game, oh my God. I mean, the first game was already amazing. Villains, story arcs, you know, Spider-Man himself, everything, voice acting, all of it was good. They literally took all of that and just doubled down like there wasn't going to be a third game. You know what I mean? I mean, this game, as a Spider-Man fan, was by far one of the best Spider-Man pieces of media that I have consumed, for sure. It's just great. The gliding, the suits, the story, the voice acting, it's all amazing. Now, does it have, other than swinging around the city, do any of the Spider-Man games have a ton of replayability? No. It was great. Now, are there some negatives here and there? Yes. Certain suits that are crucial to the story, maybe not it. Certain arcs, maybe not it. Certain, you know, certain things like they did kind of upsell, you know, oh, you get to switch between Peter Parker and Miles, and then not having that ability within the story itself, I think, was kind of lackluster. They kind of really sold, you know, it's Spider-Man 2, there's 2 Spider-Men, you get to play as both of them, you know, they both have different arcs. That's all great, except for as long as it took for the game to come out, and for as much as you sold everybody on, hey, you know, 2 Spider-Men, you get to be both of them. It does kind of suck that there's not more to the game, in the sense that you play this mission, you have to be Peter. You play this mission, you have to be Miles. I do kind of wish, and I've seen people say this, I do kind of wish that there was an aspect of, okay, well, now I want to play the whole game as Peter. I want to play the whole game as Miles. I want to do every other mission as both the Spider-Man. I think that would have been really cool, because, you know, I feel like it wouldn't be too hard. You don't have to completely alter the story or cutscenes, even just change dialogue, and you give the consumer multiple different playthroughs. I mean, not only does it allow for more gameplay and more content to your game, but I don't think it would have been that difficult to do, and you're gonna get people to constantly play your game. You know what I mean? This would have been if I can do the whole thing as Peter, the whole thing as Miles, the first 2 missions is Peter, then the rest is Miles, the last 2 missions is Peter, like I can switch it up so many and divvy it up so many different ways that I would have had so much replayability and so much to do outside of just my one playthrough, or maybe a new game plus playthrough for the platinum, that this game would have withstood the test of time because I'm doing a different playthrough every single time. You know what I mean? So I think that's a missed opportunity, but other than that, I cannot stand the hate for Spider-Man 2 and the disrespect that it gets. I think part of that is that, you know, we have games out there that are story driven but have been, you know, in development for around the same time but are completely different games, so they're arguably or objectively better than Spider-Man 2, but people end up comparing them because, well, you know, they were developed the same time. Yeah, but it's a completely different story, it's a completely different universe, it's a completely different game. Which brings me to my number 2, which is Elden Ring. Elden Ring is a prime example of what I'm talking about when I say there are other games out there that may have taken the same amount of time or whatever the case may be in development, but it's not fair to compare a game like Elden Ring to a game like Spider-Man. You know what you're getting. The goal when developing a game like Spider-Man was, you know, we're going to give you an in-universe Spider-Man story, and we're gonna do it with our combat system in the Marvel universe with these voice actors and this story, and it's completely different than, you know, what something like Elden Ring would go for, which puts me into my glazing Elden Ring mode. Elden Ring is so good, it's so goated. The world building alone, that's the stuff that gets me. Is world building. I want to learn everything. Once something has a unique, definitive universe, I want to know everything about it. The world building alone is amazing. The sheer scale and size of the game and the content, which again is why I think people shit on games like Spider-Man 2. It's like, well, if Elden Ring, if FromSoft can make a game this big, this open world, you know, with this much to do and this much lore, what the fuck is Spider-Man doing? But again, I don't think it's fair to compare those because they're so different. But besides the point, I think Elden Ring is just so far beyond what anything else has done within gaming. Taking the Souls genre and taking everything good about it, doubling down and making that open world for the player to just explore, which this was my first and only Souls game that I have played thus far. So for me as a brand new player to understand that and to be able to get in the game and optionally go rush the story or, you know, just explore was really, really fun. And to be able to get in the game and just look up at a tree and be like, wow, that's a big twig. That was a really fun aspect and a really cool thing to do. And again, on top of that, the gameplay itself is great. The weapons, the classes, the lore. Oh my god, the lore. All of it, just the complete and total package. Which, with the amount of glazing that I'm doing, might leave you wondering, that was number 2? For number 1, I had to do a game that was near and dear to my heart, a lot of people's hearts, you know, has an awful lot of nostalgia behind it, but has also withstood the test of time. This is a game that encapsulates lore, not too much lore, but encapsulates lore. It encapsulates nostalgia, fun. It has withstood the test of time. It is single player, it is multiplayer, it is moddable. This game is Minecraft. Minecraft is the greatest game of all time. I don't know how else to put it. I can't put it any other way. You can disagree, that's fine, you're wrong. This game has withstood the test of time. It has sold like, you know, fucking slices of bread. This is a game that will forever be good. There is an end goal. There is a creative mode. Your end goal is to fight the Ender Dragon. You beat the game. Okay, then what? then you just build, you have fun, you get creative, you build cool tall structures, you know, you make farms, you do all of these different things. And again, like I said, it's moddable. On top of that, okay, I'm bored of vanilla Minecraft, which by the way should never happen. Don't ever. Okay, Minecraft is fun in and of itself. It's impossible to get bored of Minecraft. And if you do get bored of Minecraft, you just wait a year and start again. Okay, I'm bored of vanilla Minecraft. Then what? Mod it. There is a plethora of mods out there that people can do. You know, there's a Marvel Heroes mod that I'm sure I would love. There's, you know, mods that just make the game fucking hard. There's mods that add so much content to the game. There is a surplus of mods that people can add to the game. Overall, Minecraft is just the greatest game of all time because it's so unique in its pixelated blockness. It was unique when it came out, and it instantly was just fun. The crafting, the building, the surviving. It's a survival game at heart. Overall, by far the greatest game of all time. It will never fail me. I will never not have fun playing Minecraft, so it had to take that one spot. So yeah, there you have it. That is my top 10 video games of all time. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you disagree, like usual, you're wrong. But let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you agree with my list, if you would rearrange it, if you would completely strip it clean and throw in 10 different games. Let me know if you want to see more of my favorite games. Let me know if you disagree. Don't forget to like, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Tell your grandma about me, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye? Hey, it's Editor Fruity here. Usually I have like a post-credit scene of like me saying something stupid or funny, but I didn't have that this time, so I'm recording this because I don't want to like make a video without a post-credit scene. Which is also why I'm using my flashlight, because I don't feel like turning my light on. Goodbye?